Okay, class, in this video, I wanted to do a quick video and kind of talk about gathering reference and how to use reference for your texturing projects. One of the most important things before you ever start is to do a little bit of background study and getting lots of good reference to base your texturing on. I think one of the biggest problems I see with people that are doing texturing when they first start is they just want to try to texture out of their head, and basically there's nothing in your head as far as the detail that you need, and so you need to gather good reference. When you're going over and getting your reference, you need to make sure that you get good quality reference. Like here's a reference of a old tractor, but if you'll notice when I zoom in on this, that this is a really high quality photo, and so I can really get in here and see a lot of the detail of what's going on with this. So you need to create a kind of a morgue of shots of different kinds of reference for what you're doing. In our particular case, we're going to be texturing some metal parts, painted parts that have been corroded, and so we want to go out and start getting things. And I'll just go through this as a folder that I've created gathered a bunch of reference in. Just kind of go through this. Old tractors are really good because they show a lot of corrosion and metal and what happens to the metal when it's been out in the weather for a while. And like I said, these are all really high quality images, so you can get really close on these. So when I do my search on Google to find references, one of the first things I do is go and set Google to only show me large images. If it's not a large image, I don't want to look at it because I need something that's where I can really get into it, really good quality. So a variety of different kinds of images, old weathered tractors is good. I just look for anything that's got really good quality imagery. This is some nice, you can see these painted surfaces as they chipped away. It's been painted a couple of times. You can see primer underneath it, different types of metals, how different metals react to the environment. Here are some tins. This is a pretty nice image of some tins to really see how, this was a piece of metal that was painted black at some point, and then it's over time, it's been rubbed off. You want to be able to just get all different kinds of reference. Close-ups. See how the paint chips, primer underneath it. So I just look for anything that is a quality image where you can really get on it and see the quality of what it is. And then just to kind of study to see how surfaces react to the environment. I mean, we're going to be creating things that have been eroded over time, some kind of a corrosion, whether it is man-made through its use, or whether, it's through weather conditions, either way. Another thing in our project is we're going to be needing to depict different kinds of metals. And so being able to find a piece of reference that shows different kinds of metals. I mean, look at the different colorations that these metals have in here. The more variety you have, the better off you are in being able to get a believable look with your reference. So when you're using it to create your final pieces, you have good kind of understanding. Look at the difference in colors in the metals. And that's one of the things I have a tendency to really kind of hark on that, because a lot of my students initially do things in which they put like one or two metals together. But really, when any kind of mechanical thing is built, it's built out of a variety of different metals. And these metals have different kinds of tones to them, real subtle tones. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. This is a really nice piece here, really close up. Look at all the grunge and stuff that's in here. Really nice reference. Let's go through these really quick. Another thing I do sometimes is something also is color correct. I can tell that this is a really nice piece of reference, but it's got a color correction issue. So what I'll do is take it into Photoshop. And then I'm just going to duplicate this layer so we can see the difference. And then just going to do an auto color on here. And look at the difference in the way that this looks. So you get a better understanding. This is a nice piece to look at too, because you're seeing different ways that things are manufactured. This has got some striations on it. This one too. So these were done with a lathe, were polished with a lathe. Whereas this one, but see all these little pock marks in it. So this was a piece of metal that was melted and cast. And look at the subtle differences in the colors. Look at the subtle difference between this one and that one. This one has a little more yellow in it than this one does. Darker metal here, lighter metal. A lot of subtle varieties, and the more subtle varieties you can get into your surfaces when you're creating them, then the more dynamic it's going to look. Another little thing I wanted to show you is a little utility I use called RefBoard. Okay, this is just a little free utility that you can get, and what's nice about it is you can come in here and drag a bunch of reference in here. So I'm just going to grab some pieces of reference out of a folder and just drag them in here, and then you can bring them all in here one time. And okay, I'm using the left mouse button to grab the top of this bar, and then I can grab the bottom corner and size this to however I want. Then with the left mouse button, I can move this around, okay? Then spin your center mouse button, and then you can zoom in on it, and so you can kind of set this up to see certain parts of the reference. And okay, that's a center mouse button, rolling it. Left mouse button to move it around, to move the piece around. You grab the whole thing. If you use your right, if you use the center mouse button and click and hold it down, you can move the whole board around. Okay. And then the other thing is you can save these boards. Okay. So I've already made one, so we're just going to load the board. And I'll open it up, and then it'll automatically size this to what I've already done. So you can save these boards, and so this is great little utility, and this floats on top of other software. So when you're inside of Max or Maya or whatever software you're using, you can bring this on top, and so when you're texturing, you can have access to it, which is really nice. Okay, so it's called RefBoard. I'll put a link to this up in our thread so you can get access to it. Okay, and so for our assignment, what I wanted you to do is to go in and create a Pinterest board of reference so that we all can kind of share and see each other's reference that you gather. Now, if you have never used Pinterest before, you need to get you an account. It's free, and it's a great way to gather reference. Now, this is my particular board, PolyGrinder, and you'll see I have all of these boards in here. So you kind of organize your reference into boards, and then you can put whatever you want inside the board. Here's my one for this class, and so we'll click on this, and then I can go inside of here, and then here's all the reference that I've initially gathered for our class. And then you can click on any one of these, brings it up, and then if you click on it again, it'll take you to the actual website where you got the piece. So this is what I've asked you guys to do, is to come in and create a Pinterest board of reference. We're going to be different kinds of painted surfaces, different kinds of metal surfaces, different kinds of corrosion, so that you have a variety to pull from when you're doing your texturing project. Okay, that's all I have on the reference, so look for some other videos on other aspects of the project. Thank you very much.